President. Madam President, as the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I come to the floor to advise our colleagues about the urgency for us to take up and pass the supplemental appropriation bill that contains many important provisions. But I'm going to start with the most urgent, and that is providing assistance to Ukraine to defend itself from the brutal attack by the Russian Federation. Vladimir Putin could change the equation in Ukraine in a matter of weeks. His tanks could be rolling through Ukraine. His forces could be arresting Zelensky and his cabinet. The Russian flag could be flying over Ukraine's capital. This could happen in a matter of weeks if the United States does not act. A few days ago, I was in the White House for a meeting about this. President Biden could not have been clearer. We are out of money to support Ukraine in this fight. Think about how that sounds to the Ukrainians fighting on the front lines. One Ukrainian soldier said, "The guys are tired, very tired. They're still motivated. Many people understand that they have no other choice. But you can't win a war only on motivation." Ukrainian soldiers have had to ration artillery shells. One unit had to go from firing as many as 90 shells a day to just 10 to 20 shells a day. Mr. Putin has made it clear he is investing in a long war. As the New York Times reported, nearly a third of the country's spending next year, roughly $109 billion, will be devoted to national defense, according to a budget he signed into law. Russian TV commentators are celebrating our gridlock. As one European ambassador reportedly said, he can hear those champagne bottle corks popping in Moscow. President Putin knows if Congress does not act, he will be able to break Ukraine. If he succeeds, he'll be signaling to the world that he can invade his neighbor whenever he wants to, erase the nation of Ukraine and our allies in Europe and the Middle East and Africa and Asia, and we ourselves, the United States, will be in greater danger. A group of NATO parliamentarians was in Washington last week, concerned about Congress's inability to pass the supplemental funding. As one of my counterparts, the chair of the Lithuanian Foreign Affairs Committee, asked, who is next? Balkans, Taiwan, Korea, the Baltics? It takes years to wake up Washington, so please, guys, wake up. Madam President, he's right. We need to wake up. If Putin wins in Ukraine, he will not stop there. That's why this isn't a choice between sending funding to Ukraine or not sending funding to Ukraine. The choice is between sending American dollars to fight Putin now or sending American soldiers to fight him later. If we want to preserve America's credibility with our allies, it's up to us. If we want to show our partners we'll be there to help when times are tough, it's up to us. If we want to make sure the United States stands on the right side of history, it's up to us. Russia is one of our most dangerous adversaries and an enemy of democracy everywhere. This is money that will strengthen the United States' security. Ukraine needs money for air defenses, money for drones, money for arming the brave Ukrainians on the front line, and of course, direct budgetary support and humanitarian assistance. People around the world are depending on the United States for the humanitarian assistance and the supplemental funding requests. Without money for food, children and mothers from Africa to the Middle East to Eastern Europe will go hungry. Mr. President, it's up to us. Madam President, it's up to us. Finally, I want to underline that there is strong bipartisan agreement on the need to support Ukraine. Madam President, we must not let this be the end of Ukraine. We must not give in to Russian aggression. We must not stand idly by as this dictator does what he likes to his neighbors. We must vote for the supplemental funding that supports Ukrainian struggle for freedom. Time is running out. We need to act now. That, Madam President, I would suggest the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.